Hello and hello everyone and welcome back to another video about Euros. Of course, today is the first day of the Euros, which is really exciting. It's going to be between Italy and Turkey. But before that, however, we are now going to begin breaking down each Euro team, like the squad that they have and what kind of strengths and weaknesses and how really far they can go. I made a prediction video yesterday, so check it out if you haven't. But we're gonna begin like going in order and breaking down every single team and trying to see how, like, what can they do, how will they play, what's our prediction. That's really what we're gonna do. Of course, we will do the Turkey and Italy as well, but now we're gonna do all of them. So we're gonna go in order, and we're gonna start first with Austria. Now, Austria is really interesting because I actually think Austria has a very good potential. I think Austria actually has a really, really good potential because I think they're a really fine team. I don't think that's really a bad team. However, we're gonna really begin breaking them down. So first is goalkeepers, and these are the goalkeepers you got. And I don't. This is probably the best they can do. Like, how about Pervin is pretty decent. I think he's a decent backup for Wolfsburg. Batchman is maybe the one that I'm probably gonna play with. I don't know, but like these are probably the best they can do. And, maybe they can work out. You never really know the goalkeepers. Maybe usually the goalkeepers are the ones who really make surprises. This is probably the best they can go with. So we're going to have to see how the goalkeepers do. But I think that there's not really much I know about these goalkeepers. So I really cannot give exact information about them. But I do think they're pretty fine. And I think they're the best they can go with. So that's why we're going to go with that. So defenders, as these are defenders, and this one is really interesting because the starting defense, if Austria is playing 4-3, I guess would be in right back. You can have Stefan Leiner in the right back. In center, there's two central defenders. Probably the central backs are probably going to be Martin Hinteregger and Marco Friedl, maybe, or Linhart. It's really between either these two or either of these three. So we really don't know, but. And the left back is pretty much going to be David Alaba. So that is probably the starting defense, which is not really that bad. I think it's a fine defense. But then you see the backups, and Andreas Ulmer and Alexander Dragovic are not really the best backups you can really use. So they're really old as well. So this is probably something that Austria has to be really scared about because their starting defense is okay. It's decent. It's not great, but it's terrible either. It's okay. It's decent pretty much. But like the backups are not really that promising. So Austria will have to be wary of that. But now we've got midfielders, and the midfield is probably the one which is the strongest position of Austria because you got like Marcel Sabitzer. You also got actually. You got Valentin Lazaro, I guess, and Jaroslav Schlager, and you also got Conrad Leimer. So those are probably the fine midfielders. The midfield is pretty much okay. Maybe not the strongest, but I have to see. But it's pretty fine midfield. Again, defense. The backups are not really that promising, and honestly, there's so many midfielders here, but there's not. I think that Austria can do. I think this Austria's midfield will have to really be well and be organized during their matches so that they can control the ball well and they can really cause problems for others. It's a fine team, I guess, not the best, but certainly not the worst. So this midfield is pretty fine. I guess Stefan Ilsanker is pretty old now, so there is still some. So there can be improvements made, but I think that this is overall fine midfield. And now I've got the forwards, and this is where it gets kind of tricky because with three forwards, this actually gives me they're probably going to go either 4-4-2 or 4-3-3. I think they're going to go 4-4-2, but Sasha Kalajic and Marko Arnautovic are pretty good players, and I think and Michael Gregoric is also pretty good. So the attackers are really, really good. The forwards are really good. So I think they're going to do pretty well in the attacking department if they can get the ball to them. If they can, because Sasha Kalajic and Mark Arnautovic are really, really tall. So if you can cross them in and expect them to score goals with their headers, that is possible. So I think that. So overall, my thoughts of Austria's team is it's pretty good. I think this Austria team is pretty fun. They can definitely do well, maybe. They probably are one of the dark horses. But yeah, I think they could be better, but it's pretty okay. I think this is a pretty okay team. Then we got Belgium, and now this one is probably pretty easy. I'm probably not talk a lot about this, but yeah, I mean, you already kind of saw the squad. So I think that now got goalkeepers. You got Thibaut Courtois, Simon Mignolet, and Mats Seltz. Now, the backups are not really that good, but the starting Thibaut Courtois is going to be absolute key. He's going to be there. He's going to be a really key player. He's going to do a lot. And I think he's going to have an excellent Euros because he's going to be the starter. He's going to be there. He's going to be really reliable. And yeah, I mean, as a Real Madrid fan, obviously, I really know how good Thibaut Courtois is. And I think he's going to excel. I think he's going to do really well. And he's going to really keep that Belgium team. He's going to keep and make sure that Belgium is not conceding a lot of goals. But he does need some help. And this is where defenders come in. Now, defense obviously is pretty okay, I guess. Now, when you have Toby Alderweireld and Toby Alderweireld, which is a really fine center back, even at 32, he's a pretty good center back. Jan Vertonghen can be good. Timothy Castagne at left back could also work out. Jason Denayer is also pretty fine, I guess. Meunier is kind of shaky. Dedrick Boyata is not really that good, but I guess that's the Thomas Vermaelen and Dedrick Boyata are the really scary ones, the weaknesses, I guess. But you never know. I guess they can work out. We really don't know. But Belgium think these are the. This is the Belgium's decision. This defense could be better. It could be better, but it's not the worst. So we have to really see how Belgium's defense does. Now the midfield is where it gets interesting. Axel Witsel is pretty good. Kevin De Bruyne is obviously excellent. Yuri Tielemans very good. Eden Hazard. This is gonna be this is probably gonna be a season, a career-defining Euros for him. He has to excel really well. Because otherwise, Real Madrid will be carefully watching how Eden Hazard does in this Euro. So we have to see how he really does, if he's going to do well or not. Hopefully he does well. I really am praying that he does well, but we have to see. Yannick Carrasco, very good player. Torgan Hazard, very good. Hans Vanaken, pretty solid. Leander Dendoncker, really good. Nasser Chadli, I guess okay, I guess for now. He's still kind of old, but I guess he's okay. Dennis Praet, again, okay, I guess for now. Overall, very, very, very good Belgian midfield. That midfield is very good. I definitely have high hopes on Belgian midfield. And as the forwards, we haven't even talked about them, but yeah, you got Romelu Lukaku, Dries Mertens, Christian Benteke, surprisingly, Michy Batshuayi, Leandro Trossard, and Jeremy Doku. Now, Romelu Lukaku and Dries Mertens are going to be the go-to guys, which are going to be really good. Even though Dries Mertens is getting up there in age, he's 34, he's still a very good player. Christian Benteke had arguably one of his best ever seasons, which is surprising. But he actually did. He was really critical for Crystal Palace this season. So you know what? We have to just see how many do. But Christian Benteke actually did well for Crystal Palace. So yeah, Michy Batshuayi, not really the best decision. Leandro Trossard is decent. Jeremy Doku is a very good kid. I do have high hopes for Jeremy Doku. I think he's going to do well. We just have to see. So that's Roberto Martinez's team, and hopefully I actually think Belgium is going to be really, really good. I think they're definitely one of the favorites. We have to see how they do, but this is a very, very, very good team. This is a very, very good Belgian team. Alright, so next we got Croatia. Now Croatia, this is really interesting because Croatia is. So let's see. Now the keepers are Dominik Livakovic is a very, very good keeper. I think he's definitely got a 26-year-old is very, very good. I think he's a really good keeper, and I do think that he can really excel. Lovre Kalinic as well as a backup is not really that bad. So and Simon Sloga. So you know what? I do think that keeper Dominik Livakovic is probably gonna have a big Euros and maybe a top European club. With no disrespect to Dinamo Zagreb, will probably pick him up. So we have to see. But yeah, Livakovic definitely really good. Then you got defenders. Now defenders is Simir Salko and Borna Barisic. Not really the best. Now Duje Chaleta Char is pretty fun. Dejan Lovren there are memes about Dejan Lovren, but I think he is probably someone who's gonna guide, who's gonna be a leader in that Croatian defense. So we have to see how they do. Domagoj Vida can also be really good. Domagoj Braduric and Josko Guardiol, two rising stars. It seems could definitely make good impact for Croatia's defense. Again, Croatia's defense is not like, it's decent. Like, it's pretty decent. I don't think it's really that bad. I think they can really excel. I think Dejan Lovren will have a big responsibility to keep the Croatian team calm and actually help him, because he's got that leadership. So we have to see how he does. Now the midfielders, you got and now midfield is Croatia's best ever position. That's mine, because you got Ivan Perisic, Mateo Kovacic, Luka Modric, Marcelo Brozovic, Nikola Vlasic, Mario Pasalic, Mislav Orsic, Milan Baldov, and Luka Ivanusic. All of these players are really good. The depth is there. The starting, like you got, like for example, in the central midfield, you're playing 4-3, which Croatia play. You got like Mateo Kovacic, Luka Modric, and Marcelo Brozovic. That's what I'm predicting. That midfield right there is already great, scary. Or if you're playing like 4-2-3-1, you can play Ivan Perisic right there. Or maybe if you're an attacking midfielder, you can play Ivan Perisic there. It's really, there's so many, because then Nikola Vlasic and Mario Pasalic are there as options. Mislav Orsic as well. It's a really, really, really solid. Milan Baldov brings that experience in that midfield, however, as well as so does Luka Modric. And then you also got Ivanusic. So this is a very, very good Croatian midfield, and I really have hopes for Croatia. We have to see how they do. Will they replicate their World Cup 2018 run? I don't think so, but I do think that they can go far in this competition. Maybe they can. Who knows? We have to see. Now the forwards, you got, again, really good forwards. You got Josip Brekalo, Andrija Kramaric, Ante Budimir, Ante Rebic, Bruno Petkovic. Now, Josip Brekalo is a rising star, I think. He had a really good season at Wolfsburg, and he had them get top 4, so he's a really, really fine player. I do think he has potential there. Andrija Kramaric has had a really good season for Hoffenheim. Ante Budimir had a kind of shaky season with Osasuna, but, he's obviously a decent player maybe in the backup to Andrija Kramaric. Ante Rebic is also a really, really good player, as we know, and for AC Milan. Bruno Petkovic is in Dinamo Zagreb, but he's a fine player as well. So I do think that he's really underrated as well. So I do think that Zlatko Dalic has a fine team to use in Pro. And I do think that Croatia could do well. We have to really see, but I do think that they're fine overall. Now, Czech Republic, we got Czech Republic next. Now, this one is interesting. So, the reason is because Czech Republic, sorry about that, I got the wrong one, but yeah. Alright, so the Czech Republic is really interesting because, alright, so you got Thomas Václav and Jiří Pavlenka, who are two fine keepers, definitely, and I do think that both of them it's really going to be depend on which one Czech Republic chooses, but I do think both are fine, so I do think that either probably Václav is going to be the one who's going to pick, but Pavlenka can also be picked, so we have to really see, but I do think the coach has good options there, so maybe the Czech Republic will do well, you never know. Then you got Pavel. Now, the defenders is interesting. Pavel Kaderabek had a good season on Hoffenheim, so he could definitely be right there. Vladimir Coufal had a really good season at West Ham. So yeah, and then Jan Borel, who is at Slavia Praga, and like overall, this team is very, very good. I do think this team. Well, I think this defense is actually not that bad. I do think that some of these defenders, I have watched some of them. Sometimes I think that they're gonna sit back. I think that's the team that Czech Republic will be. Maybe at the 3 at the back, with Kaderabek, maybe. No, 3 at the back is not gonna work. Actually, it might, but probably not, because Vladimir Coufal is not going to be a center back. Really interesting. I am looking forward to what Czech Republic produces, but I really I don't see them I honestly don't see them getting out of the group, but they're probably going to be like they're one of those teams that are really uncomfortable to play against. So we have to see how they do. The midfielders is where it kind of changes. So you got the midfield I'm looking right now. Tomas Soucek and Alex Kral are their main midfielders. Soucek is probably their best player right now. Probably. I said probably. Now, Soucek is obviously going to be the one who, coming into this with a very, had an excellent season. I think it was one of the top scorers, if not the top scorer for West Ham. So Soucek is going to come, who is a really, really good player. So Soucek is definitely going to be there. And I do think that he has that. I do think that Soucek has potential to really lead this Czech Republic team to maybe some good results. He's a really good player. And Alex Kral had a fine season at Spartak Moscow. So, very interesting to see how they do. But I do think Soucek is going to be their main man. And then you got forwards. Now you got Patrick Schick, who's a fine player, of course. Adam Hložek is a youngster at Sparta Prague. So, I do think that he can have a breakthrough season here. Matej Vydra, not shaky, not really playing at Burnley, but yeah, overall, I do think that Patrick Schick and Adam Hložek could be their main go-to men if they play a 4-4-2. I really don't know how Czech Republic will play. I do know that they're probably going to sit back, but we have to play on the counters, just sit back and try frustrating their opponents. I think that's what I predict. But yeah, these are Patrick Schick and Adam Hložek are really good attacking options at strikers. So I do think they can exploit some spaces, those three, because those three are, Patrick Schick has good speed, so I do think that can help. And yeah, we have to obviously see how they do overall. And hopefully we will, because who knows. But yeah, that is the Czech Republic team. Pretty okay team, I guess. Not anything special, but yeah. Now we got okay, now this is where it gets more than okay. This is where it gets pretty interesting. Now, Denmark, you got straight up, you already see good players because Kasper Schmeichel is a very, very good keeper. He had a good season at Leicester. He's overall a really consistent player. He's a leader there, just like his father. And yeah, I do think that he's gonna be the one who's gonna have, who's really gonna protect Denmark's net really well. So I do think he's going to be big for them. The backups are pretty okay, I guess. Ronald, not really, to be honest. But I do think that Kasper Schmeichel is their best goal. So we have to see just how they do. But yeah, Kasper Schmeichel definitely going to be the one who's definitely going to keep their net safe. Now you got Institute. Now you got defenders. And now this is where it gets, this is probably, and I mean probably, Denmark's one of the best, if not the best position. You got Andersen, Vestergaard, Jair, Miley, Christensen, and yeah, these are really good. These are really good defenders, as you guys can see. So all of them are definitely going to have a good. I think they can have a good Euros because they're probably really gonna you got. They're probably gonna. I think this is good for three at the back because of Christensen, Vestergaard, and Andersen, and three at the back, or Jair maybe. You can put all of these guys in there. You can put them in the three, and maybe play you got Andersen, Jair, and Christensen as three center backs, Miley as a right wing back, and Vestergaard as a left wing back, maybe something like that. Maybe that is the play that they want to go with Andersen. I really don't know how Denmark is going to function, but I think that is probably their best goal. So, yeah, I do think that's obviously a fine defense. I think that's a really, really good defense. Midfielders, you got Robert Skov, Thomas Delaney, Christian Eriksen, Christian Norgard, Daniel Wass, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, Matthias Jensen, and Andres Christensen. Well, different people, of course. These are not the same, but yeah. Christiansen, I guess. But, yeah, no. So, then right there, you already got three names in midfield that are probably going to be right there. So, now you got... And the three names that you have to focus on are Thomas Delaney, Christian Eriksen, and Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. These are the three names that you gotta focus on in that midfield. Well, and of course the backups of Robert Skov, Christian Norgard, and Daniel Wass are good. Of course, Daniel Wass is really like versatile, so that also helps. But like these are this Denmark midfield is very good. So I do think this Denmark midfield will really link up well the defense. Like when you pass it from midfield to defense back there, like it's gonna be really interesting how it goes. But like I do think that's probably what they're gonna go with. So we really have to see how they do. Now you got forwards. You got Martin Braithwaite, and I'm not really gonna dive too deep into these, but like the forwards are pretty fine, I think. Jonas Wind could be really good for them. Yusuf Poulsen, Kanye, Andres Cornelius. Like the forwards, they can be better. The attack can be definitely better, but I do think it's not that bad. And I do think that they can really have good seasons together. So yeah, that's definitely one of them. And I do think they have a lot of good. And I do think that they have a lot of good options in there. So I do think this Denmark team could be one of the dark. This Denmark could be really one of the dark horses. That's what I predict. I think they can go really far. Now, guys, we're gonna stop here. This is the part 1. I'm gonna release the part 2 later after I take some breaks, and then we're gonna go with the other one. So thank you.